Hey guys, Paul Trin here with Row64 doing tutorials. Today we're going to learn how to do a racing line chart, just like the one you see right behind me. I'm going to give it to you as an example, but by the end of this video, you should be able to do an amazing data visualization like this, all without learning any code whatsoever. Join me today. I'm excited to show you what you can do with our software. Paul Trin here with Row64 doing tutorials, and again we're going to learn today how to do a racing line chart. So the first thing you're going to want to do is head over to row64.com if you haven't already. Register, log in, and sign up for the download. And after you do that, jump into this link, which is row64.com/dataviz/. Make sure that you have data viz. The D and the V are capital, just like up here. Okay. And then you're going to scroll down. There's a ton of little example files here. So if there's another animation that you like, just pop over, download the sample project file, and you will see exactly how each of these visualizations are made. So you're here specifically for racing line chart. So let's go ahead and open that file up. Once you've downloaded that sample project, go ahead and pop it open. All right, I'm going to go there right now, and it's going to be located inside of my Row64. All right, so I'm going to pop over there right now. It's right here, my demo folders, and I think I have it down here. Yeah. Go ahead and open that up, and you're going to immediately see the data frame, the package itself. It unzips, and you'll see this new folder gets pulled in, which is how Row64 unpacks the information. But you'll see the data immediately. This is all, I believe, from I'm trying to remember the name of it's a company that tracked subreddit forums and how many subscribers there were for each forum, and then recorded on a daily basis. They had all this information back till about 10 years ago in 2012. So you'll see here that information was downloaded as a CSV file, then loaded directly into Row64 using some Python. And then from there were some nulls and some gaps. So I cleaned up the data to remove all the nulls and fill them in with actual data. And then we have the chart itself. So how is this made? First thing I did was I clicked on chart, and I did new, and then from new you can then choose and select style you want. I had chosen line chart, obviously, but prior to doing that, you want to highlight all of this, right? Highlight all of it, and then do new. And that's the reason being is if you do that, then what you end up with is each one of these values is going to end up being filled out, so it becomes a lot easier to start making this chart. Anyway, when you do that, go ahead and click edit here. You have two options really. You have dynamic reveal and reveal. I'm going to show you the difference between the two later. A dynamic reveal is just much more engaging and more of a race. If you want to try it out, you can do that. But a dynamic reveal is what we just saw, versus just a normal reveal. This is what you would get. Let me pop back over to the Row64. You would get something like this. So just kind of like as a gradual reveal, right? Just two completely different styles. And it's really up to you on what you think is best. Maybe you don't want something as not engaging, but I guess dynamic. And there's a reason why we call it dynamic reveal. So anyway, let's get right to it, and we'll jump right in. As you can see here, each one of the data sets corresponds to the sheet. And when you click on OK, basically you're going to get a blank template. What I did was I went into data labels here, and the first thing I did was I went back into the chart area and I filled it in black. The reason why I did that is because I wanted really more of a dark color. So yeah, it's up to you on how you want to do that, but there's so many different styles here that you can choose from. I'm going to go ahead and click on animate here to bring up an animation toolbar. That's going to tell me where I am in my video process. You can always move these things around. It's pretty amazing. Look at this. You just move this exactly the way you want it. So you see the very first frame here. You can actually even pull this to kind of see where everything is going. And what you can see here is that this entire video just kind of tracks this purpose, right? Really powerful, really fun too. So I didn't really use data label. I did an end label because I want the end labels to be on the side here. This was just such a better format for this style of race chart. So go into in the data label, don't worry too much about it, because that's the reason why when you click edit here, there are no data labels really anywhere, right? We don't really care about that. What we care about is the end label, the one on the most right here. And that end label, what we wanted to do is orient it right of this box here. We wanted to have the name as a primary label and then the value as a secondary label, right? And then I chose to you can increase and decrease the font size pretty easily, right? I went smaller just because you want to fit as much as you can on the page and make it legible. And I made all the white. These come standard at black. Change them all to white, right? And you can do all kinds of stuff here. So we went through that, and yeah, here's all the shapes and colors of everything, of all the markers themselves. You could do even the end marker colors here. So if we had markings in between each segment here, that's what markers are. Like if you think of a line, if there's like multiple markers, this connects to this point, connects to this point. Each of those is a marker, whereas the very end marker is the only thing that's being displayed here. So what ends up happening is you get this like rippling effect, right? Like it keeps just moving with the chart itself. So it just is very mesmerizing to me. So yeah, end marker is what I ended up working with, and you can see here that all fits in line with these colors as well. And it shows the line color, same deal. Fill, you can fill colors, and then I started choosing things like, show the x-axis, let's show major axes, right? And you go through, and what you'll notice is when you first come through this for the very first time, it's gonna be like it's gonna keep the x-axis, sorry, the y-axis. It's gonna be locked in at 0 here, and this part will just grow as the graph grows up and down. If you want to change that and make it a style like this, where the data is always kind of kept in space, what you do is you click on Edit Animation here. And I'm just going to bring this all the way to I'm going to hit stop here. I'm going to bring this all the way to the end, right? And I'm going to click on Edit Animation, and you'll see what I'm talking about. You're going to end up with this wonderful, like, see the little these little blue lines up in top? These blue lines, at least here, represent the top and bottom of this image. And then you're going to see as it grows through, it shows you and reveals more points. I actually placed all those points in. Those are all keyframe points. So if you want to change that, it's just a matter of just grabbing the dots and moving them to where you want them to be. So as an example, let me just show you this. So I'm in the edit keyframes mode right now, right? So I'm going to shift click this one right here, and I'm going to change the lower bound back down to 0, right? And so you can kind of see here what I'm talking about. Like if I take this dot and I just move it down, right, and I move this one down, you can kind of see the ability that you have to control how this animation looks. So I'll just kind of show you this. I can click animate while I'm inside of here again and click play. You're going to see that we're going to move up, right, and then immediately we're going to move back down. We're going to expand the graph here in a moment. So yeah, I've just kind of chosen how I want this entire thing to display. So maybe the goal at the very end of the video is to showcase the overall motion of this entire graph. So maybe what we would do is, I don't know, say for example, what we wanted the effect to be something like this. Let me stop this video real quick. Let's move these guys back into this so that you can kind of like, see this the whole way through, right? And you can see how easy these modifications are. So for those of you, and I'll explain these little lines up in here too. There's like these two little zones that you have to be aware of. So let's say, for example, at the very end, we wanted to do something like this, right? We wanted to really highlight, I guess, the overall look of this chart. So I'm just going to move it to 20 seconds and just play this so you can see what happens. So you see here we're moving through our moment, and eventually we're expanding out to show the overall impact of the entire line. So I do see that sometimes that people like to do that to give a big overview of what's going on. But yeah, this is kind of a cool way, right? Now the top is completely different. You see these, let's move back to the very beginning actually. You see these, let me exit this too. Move this out of the way so you can see better. Okay, so let me go back into the keyframes mode, and I want to go all the way to the very end here. You see right here the units here, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. Every major unit is 1 million, and then in between that is these small little minor zones. They're probably 250,000 each. That's what these things are controlling here. So if you look here, you're going to see eventually units on the bottom. I actually blacked out the bottom units because I didn't want them displayed. But you're basically controlling the units that are being displayed. So you can see here our first gap was 1 million to 3 million on the y-axis, and then it's going to flip and change 2.5 million major axes, and then whatever that number is divisible by 4, which would be what, 625 or 675, one of the two. And you can see that just kind of growing, right? And it shifts and changes with every single one of those dots. And that's what this is changing. So you can see here, watch this. So if I click here, we're going to see 1 million and 250, and it's going to slowly, gradually shift to the next point, right, which becomes 2.5, and I said like 625. Yep, 2.5 million is 625,000, and then you just keep moving through. You're basically choosing where you want the camera to be focused on, right? So that's what keyframe edits are. I hope you find them really useful, and you're able to tell really powerful stories using these keyframe edits. I know that I, in particular, love doing that in situations where data like this becomes too scrunched, and when you have that, you get just a much better view of what's going on when you hit play, right? So, and again, if you need to render this out after it's all done, after you get the exact, motion you want, you click render here, and you can select the folder path that you want this video to come out in. Anyway, thanks so much for your time. I hope that you find really compelling data stories to tell using this new charting style. So thanks so much for your time. Have a great day.